Hi, Dan Safko here. I'm here with my friend Christiana Carter, who is a master organizer. I know that firsthand because she helped me get organized. So let's talk about that. Let's begin with the end in mind. What does organizing success look like?
Organizing success looks like this. Clutter equals stress. Clutter equals tension, and clutter also causes unnecessary tension in relationships. So organizing success is you reduce the clutter, you reduce the stress. You reduce the clutter, you reduce tension. Also, what happens is when you get organized, you reduce the uncertainty that you have in your life. You make life more predictable. Granted, there are unpredictable things that happen, but life becomes more predictable and you don't have to manage as much chaos. So if you want less chaos and less stress in your life, getting organized is definitely should be high on your list this year.
Well, let's talk a little bit about the process. As a master organizer, do you have a proprietary process that you take your clients through in getting them from the anxious, chaotic state they may be in into a state that brings them more harmony and the outcome that they desire?
There is a basic process. The key and the fundamental to everything that I do is everybody is different. There's more than one way to do things. You know, our school system teaches that there's one way of learning. Well, there's not. There's people that excel in that environment and they're told they're going to be very successful in life. But for then those of us that don't, like me, you know, I didn't really fit the system, so they told me that I would be challenged in life and not have as much success. But that's not true. I just didn't fit that model. So, and there's a lot of other famous, hugely successful people that did not fit that model either. So what happens is we need to figure out what your way of learning is. So knowing who you are. So first you have to know why you want to get organized. Because if you don't understand why, when it gets challenging, you're going to want to bail. So you have to know why. Two, you have to understand what you're doing that already works and what you're doing that doesn't work, because we have to understand in your mind how things work. And then beyond that, we need to know what an organized picture of your life will look like. So you need to have those foundation pieces in place. And then what we actually do is we go through and we start custom building and mapping out what an organized environment looks like to you, so then we can turn around and then build it, or you can then build it on your own.
And you're giving them the plans to be successful. This isn't like that hoarding show where you're going into their home and cleaning things up and then taking off. This is a plan that you're going to teach them to help themselves. Is that accurate?
Yes, so this is something where you're going to have the power. You're going to be able to do this on your own. You're going to have all the tools. You're going to have, I can teach you in 4 weeks how to have an organized foundation of like what the thinking is behind it, where you stand. Let's map out what's going on in your life so you know what you need to set up, and then how do you train yourself in order to get the habits. Because organizing really is about creating independence for you. You know, there's two parts. There's setting up a system and maintaining the system. If we design a system based on the way that you already think, you already know yourself, you spent years in your own skin. So odds are you're going to maintain that. You're not going to have to learn anything. Then there's maintaining the system. But if you go into something that isn't organic to who you are, now you have to learn something and maintain it. So your odds are 50% greater that you're going to fail.
So this is a teaching program, a virtual event, is that accurate?
Yes, it's a virtual event, so you can take it at your own pace. It's done weekly, and it's something that you can be able to apply. You can ask questions. It's very interactive. There's a lot of access to me to be able to find out if there is something that's challenging. And it's really a way for you to empower yourself. The people that have gone through it are so excited. They've taken something of organizing, which is stressful, and like this judgment-based conversation of I can, or I'm good, or I'm bad, or I'm right, or I'm wrong, and you've lived with this, and everyone around you has told you you're either good or bad at it. And instead of doing that, now they're playing a game at it, and they're having fun. And what's so funny is to now listen to people that were once like traumatized by the thought of organizing, who are now playing at it and having such a great time.
And I'm going to ask Christiana in a second exactly how you can sign up for her webinar, because you need what she has, trust me. But first, I want this to be content rich. I want to reward the viewers with an actual tip or strategy that you can give them that they can start using tomorrow. Can you give us that?
Well, first I already gave you 4, which is understand why you're doing it. Like, we're going into a new year, so in new year you make resolutions. So know why you want to get organized. Do you really want to start like not managing that chaos in your life? You want to have that certainty. If you do, then know why you want that. So that's 1. 2 is also then understand what you're doing that works. Make a list of here's everything I do that I'm actually really good at that's working. Now it may be within a crippled system, but there are still parts that do work. So you want to pick out those things. And then also make a list of everything that's not working so you can start gauging and seeing what works for your mind and what doesn't. So that way you can start getting a picture of your way of doing things. And then 4, what is your end result going to look like? If you closed your eyes and pictured an organized environment, what would that look like? What would that feel like? Really sit with it. Take everything. You do a closed eyes visualization for yourself. You just sit in your space. You close your eyes. You take everything out of it. And you rebuild what it would feel like. And you just rebuild it. There's no heavy lifting involved. So those are the first foundational pieces, which I go over in much more detail. But that'll at least get you started. And then one really amazing thing that you can do, it's called 10-minute magic. So you can move mountains in 10 minutes. And 10-minute magic is you make a clean spot and you do something that's simple. I started with my bed. I wanted to create my bed and make it look like a spa. So I got all the stuff so it looked like I was at this really high-end spa. Every day I would make my bed. So I'd make my bed, it looked all pretty. And then it took 10 minutes the first day. Well, then the next day I knew what I was doing, so it took less time. Well, then what I did is I extended my clean spot and I started growing it. So you take this clean spot and it's got to be something you can win at, that you can have immediate results. And so you do something like that, like cleaning off a counter, doing something like that, and you maintain it every day. And then you grow it. So for 10 minutes every day, you are starting to transform your own environment. And it's every day you can look at that one space and you have success. So you get to celebrate yourself every day. And that's going to start giving you momentum. And that is huge. You're going to get the habit and you're going to get a daily success.
So if somebody's watching this video and they're feeling stressed, they're feeling anxious, maybe they've got piles, maybe they've got a bad habit of working long instead of working smart, maybe they know that if they could only be more productive and more organized, they'd be more profitable, and they realize they do in fact need what you have. How could they take advantage of your knowledge?
Excellent. Well, you could go to Learn Organizing Now. That organizing is spelled with a Z. If you're in England or Australia, it's with a Z. And if you go to Learn Organizing Now, you'll be able to look at the sales letter, which will give you all the information about how the webinar is going to flow. And then also that it leads you onto my webpage, so you can click around in there and get more information about who I am and what I do and what are the different ways that you can interact. If you do have a question or a comment, feel free to leave a comment. I always answer them.
And when does your next Learn Organizing Now event start?
It starts on January 16th. It's on Monday, and it's going to go for 4 Mondays. On January 9th, I'm going to be having a quick, here's what's going to be happening over the next 4 weeks. It'll be a preview call with question and answers. So if you do want to do that, go ahead and go to my contact page at Learn Organizing Now. And you'll click on Contact Us and then fill out your name and information and say you want the link, and I will happily put the link up there.
And they may be anywhere in the world. They can participate.
Anywhere in the world.
And all the webinars will be recorded, so even if they can't make one live, they can access that information?
Yes, so it's going to be every Monday. So the live Q&A will happen. So there'll be an hour of teaching, and then there will be a live Q&A after, question and answer. So that way you can get your questions answered, and I will stay on to make sure people get their questions answered. And it's going to be so much fun, and it's going to empower you to be able to take your life back. So if you really feel like you've been avoiding this long enough and you really want to make a change, then this is something that can really help you get the results you want in 2012. So take a look, fill out information, leave a comment. I'm happy to reply, and tune in on January 9th for a free preview.
January 9th for the free preview. As she said, Christiana Carter, Master Organizer, can help you take your life back. Thank you.
Thank you.